Namaha. Welcome to the Tadvidya Sambhasha Parishit series of Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana. Today we are going to deal with the 14th Adhyaya of the Sutrasthana, that is the Svedadhyaya. So let us start with the chapter of Svedadhyaya. Svedadhyaya is followed by the Snehadhyaya. We know that the Purva Karma for any Panchakarma will be Snehana and Svedana. Therefore, Svedana can be a procedure which is done as a Purva Karma for any kind of Panchakarma, or it is done for a specific purpose also. That is, wherever there is any Stambha, Gaurava or Shitatva, therein we can go for this particular Svedana. This procedure will be helpful in reducing the Shitata, Gauravata, Shula, etc. We know that Svedana is done for each and every ailment. For example, if you have a blocked nose or if you have some cold, immediately some steam is taken. So it is seen that whenever there is increase in temperature, there is increase in the circulation, right? And also there is a lot of relief. Therefore, Ushna Guna is administered in the form of Svedana. So we have to see that any kind of upakrama, whenever we are seeing that the some gunotkarsha is happening in that. So in Svedana we can see that the Ushna Guna is being delivered through this particular procedure called Svedana. So this Svedana procedure will have its specific benefits on the Anga Avayavas of the Sharira, as well as it will have a very good effect on the Sroto Vilayana also. That is, we need the proper flow of the doshas in the Sharira. For the ayana of the contents of the Srotas, we need the help of this Svedana also. So in the Sharira we can see that the temperature is always maintained at a certain level. Whenever there is decrease in the temperature, there can be different defects in dushti in the srotas also. So Svedana specifically is a procedure which is done to rectify this particular the sroto dushti. So sroto dushti can be very well corrected with the help of Sveda Vidhi. So in the context of the dosha gati also we have studied in the Ashtanga Hritaya. Vyayamat Ushmanas Teikshnat Ahita Charanadapi. That is the Koshta Shakhagata Gamana of the dosha. There, in that particular context, we have studied that Svedana will be very, very important for us to bring in the doshas to the Koshta from the Shakha. That is why, as a Purva Karma in the Panchakarma, we are going to adopt Svedana Karma. Why? Because we need the doshas to get into the Koshta. That is, they have to be brought to the Koshta through the Srotasas. And then, because Vilayana has to happen, the Sroto Vilayana will happen, and then the doshas come from the Shakha to the Koshta, and from the Koshta we can eliminate it out from the Sharira. So therefore, in the second chapter of Sutrasthana, you have learnt Tani Upasthita Doshanam Sneha Svedopapadanaihi Panchakarmani Kurvita Matra Kalo Vicharayan. So considering the Matra and Kala, we have to always adopt Snehana and Svedana. So Svedana is having a lot of importance. Without the Svedana, we cannot expect any kind of dosha vilayana. After that only you are supposed to go for any kind of Shodhana karma, right? So therefore, Svedana karma will be very, very important karma just after the Snehana, right? So let us start with this particular chapter, which is a part of the Kalpana Chatushka. अतः स्वेदाध्यायः व्याख्यास्यामः इति हस्माः भगवानात्रेयः. अतः स्वेदाः प्रवक्ष्यन्ते यैर्यथावत् प्रयोजितैः स्वेदसाद्याः प्रशाम्यन्ति गदा वातकवात्मकाः. So the first indication what they are giving is that Svedasadhyaha prashamyanti, that is the diseases which are possible to be cured or alleviated with the help of Svedana, Gada Vatakavatmakaha. These are the Gada. What are Gada? Roga. Roga which are caused due to Vata and also Vatakapha. These particular Gada or diseases can be tackled, or it can be treated with the help of Svedana. They are Sveda Sadhya, they are telling. Right? Then Snehapurva Prayuktena Svedanavajite Anile Purishamutra Retamsi Na Sajjanti Katanchana. This is a very important factor which they have told. Snehapurvam Prayuktena, that is earlier to Svedana, Snehana should have been done. Svedana avajite anile. So the Sveda will be beneficial when the Snehana is done just before the Snehana is done just before the Svedana, because for controlling the Vata we need Snehana also, right? Because of the Rukshadi Prakopa itself we have the Vata Vriddhi, therefore we need Siddhadi Guna for the Prashamana of the Vata. So with the help of Snehana we have achieved a certain amount of control over the Vata. Now with Svedana, once again there will be Vilayana. What will happen? See, Purisha Mutra Retamsi na Sajjanti Kadanchana. That is, any kind of, it may be a Mala, it can be a Dhatu also. That is, anything which is having a movement or which has to be eliminated out of the body or which has some particular movement, that will be relieved or it will be eliminated out, or the movement of that will be eased with the help of Svedana. That is what they have told. There is Mutra Purisha Retamsi na Sajjanti Katanchana. There will be no Sajjanti, means it will not get accumulated. We have studied in the Vadakalakali Adhyaya in the 12th chapter. That is the Apyayatva of the Apyayamanam, we have told. That is the anus of the dosha, especially Vata, Rukshadi Gunas, if they are going to get accumulated, then there will be Sajjana. Sajjana means there will be accumulation there, Sanchaya of the Paramanus there. So because of that there will be Vata Prakopa. Now what will happen? Now Na Sajjanti, that is the block is removed. It is going to ease the movement of the Mutra Purisha or Retas. Therefore, there will be no blockage. Therefore, there will be no Vata Prakopa. Right? This is how it is going to act. The mode of action of the Svedana Karma to reduce Vata has been told. Right? Of course, Ushna Guna of Sveta will be acting on the Shita Guna of the Vata, but the movement is eased, therefore the Vata Prakopa, there is Rukshadi Gunas are also relieved with the help of the Svedana. How it will help? They have given a very good simile, a wonderful simile here, right? So Upamana is Shushkanyapi hi kashtani sneha svedopapadanaihi namayanti yathanyayam kim punar jivito punaran. That is, a shushka kashta, when it is applied with snigdha dravya, that is some oil or anything, grita or something, and then it is given steam, then it is very easy to bend it. You can see that the cane furniture, when it is made, cane furniture is the bamboo furniture, right? When it is made, usually they do like this. What they to bend it, to give it a proper shape, what they do is they apply a little oil or something to it, then they give the steam, then it is very easy to bend it. Then after it they bend it and then frame the furniture, the framework of the furniture, then they leave it to dry, then it forms the shape of the same thing. So this is how the namana of the shushka kashta can happen. Namana means it bends. So shushka kashta itself can bend with the application of sneha dravya and application of the svedana. Then how come a nara, that is a manushya, will not have any positive effects? That is what is the simile given, or it is asked in through a question, that it is definitely possible that the sroto vilayana or the movement of the sharira can happen. Here namana refers to the benefit what we are getting from it. Namana means we can bend it like however you want, they say, so it is like it will the doshas in the sharira will not get accumulated, it will have an easy movement. That is what is told here. Now the word namana refers to like whatever instructions we give to the sharira, it will happen, or whatever we intend will happen. That is what is indicated by namana. So therefore shushkanapi hi kashtani sneha svedopapadanaihi Namayanti yatha nyayam kim punarjivito naran. So this nyaya, that is shushka kashta applied with the sneha dravya and done svedana, will bend however we want. So in the similar way, if snehana and svedana is done in the sharira, then we can intend whatever we need, right? That is, the doshas can be controlled. That is what is the the artha of this particular nyaya. So, how it should be done? That is, you can see that roga rutu vyadita apeksho nati ushna ati mridurna cha dravyan kalpito deshe svedaha karyakaro mataha. That is, according to the rutu, vyadhi and the ushna shitatva, etc. We are going to select the dravyas or select the type of sveda which has to be done according to the purusha. So purusham viksha has been given importance. So you can see that vyadhau shite sharire cha mahan svedo mahabale durbale durbala svedo madhyame madhyamo hitaha. That is, there are three types of svedana which they are mentioning based on the bala of the roga. Bala of the roga, strength of the disease. So they are telling vyadhau shite sharire cha mahan svedo mahamale. That is, mahan sveda, madhyama sveda and mrudu sveda. Three types of sveda they are discussing: mahan, madhyama and mrudu sveda. Mahan sveda is given in mahabale. That is, when the roga is mahabala, vyadhau mahabale. That is, the vyadhi is ghoratara, it is very severe. In those conditions, you are supposed to go for the mahasveda. Durbale durbala svedo, that is, in durbala vyadhi or the persons who are durbala also, in there we are going to go for durbala sveda. Madhyamo madhyama hitaha, that is, the roga is also madhyama and the sharira bala is also madhyama, then you can go for madhyama type of sveda. This is indicating the intensity of the svedana which has to be done, okay, or which has to be carried out. That has to be kept in mind. Here the dosha affliction and also the dosha prashamana has to be taken into importance. That is why in the 8th shloka they are specifically indicating वातश्लेष्मणि वाते वा कफे वा स्वेदयिष्यते स्निग्धरूक्षस्तथा स्निग्धो रूक्षश्च अपि उपकल्पितः. Vatashleshmani vate, that is vata and vata kafaja vyadhis, or separately vata and kapha if you are considering, then you have to consider the snigdha type of sveda and the ruksha types of sveda. That is, you can say see that in case of the vata, predominance of vata, always it is better to go for a snigdha sveda. When it is kapha predominance, we have seen earlier only that in the earlier shloka itself that sveda sadhyaha prashamanti gada vata kafatmakaha. Vata kafatmaka rogas are getting reduced with the help of, or we can treat the vata and kapha vyadhis with the help of svedana. Therefore, they are indicating that what type of svedana should be done. All types of sveda will not work in all kinds of dosha. In vata vyadhis or vata predominant conditions, we are supposed to go for snigdha sveda. If it is kapha predominant, then you go for ruksha sveda. That is, we are not going to add on the jalamahabhuta pradhana dravyas along with the svedana dravyas. That is what is indicated here, because it can lead to kapha vriddhi. Therefore, we are going to go for ruksha sveda when there is no there is application of heat, of course, but there is no involvement of the shita mahabhuta dravyas, that is the jala mahabhuta, etc. Then if it is a combination of vata and kapha, then what has to be done? Then snigdha ruksha vyathyasa can be done, or it can be a combined kind of act wherein snigdha and rukshatva both are a type of sveda can be done. Okay, so there are three types of sveda based on the dosha predominance. That is, for vata vyadhis, snigdha svedana should be done. For kapha vyadhis, ruksha sveda should be done. For the combination of vata and kapha, we are going to give a combination of the formulation, that is the snigdha and the ruksha sveda together. Okay, or in vyathyasa, alternatively it can be done. Okay, fine. So snigdha rukshas tatha snigdho rukshascha api anukalpitaha. That is how we have to formulate the type of sveda according to the dosha which we are encountering. Then one more important thing which has to be considered is whenever there is vata or vata kafacha vyadhi or only kafacha vyadhi, the udbhava sthana will be very very important for us. That is from where the the udbhava of the vyadhi happens. We see that in many of the diseases related to the kaya chikitsa, we note that in Roga Nidana you might have studied, that is the Udbhava Sthana of the Vyadhi. You either write it as Amashaya or you write it as Pakvashaya. That is, if it is a Kafaja Vyadhi or a Pittaja Vyadhi, etc., you will usually mention that Amashaya is the Udbhava Sthana, and if it is a Vata Vyadhi, you will write that it is the Pakvashaya, which is the Udbhava Sthana. Why we are going to write like that is because the Prakrita Vata is going to get nourished in the Pakvashaya only, right? Because in the Katu Avasthapaka we are going to have the Prakrita Vata being produced. So therefore we are saying that the Pakvashaya is the Udbhavasthana of the Vyadhi, because whenever you are going to correct something, you have to always correct in the Udbhavasthana itself. So Udbhavasthana means what? Udbhavasthana for the Roga will be the Udbhavasthana of the Dosha itself. So therefore Udbhavasthana means the origin, how the Prakrita or the nourishment of that particular dosha happens. Therefore you can see that the for any kind of Vata Vyadhis we write Pakvashaya as the sthana for the Udbhava Sthana. Then we write Amashaya as the Udbhava Sthana for Pitta and Kafaja Vyadhis. So you can see here that Amashaya is a seat for Pitta as well as Sleshma. So Urdhva Amashaya and Adha Amashaya we consider. Urdhva Amashaya is the site for Kapha dosha and Adha Amashaya is the site for the Pitta dosha. So therefore Udbhava Sthana for Pitta or Kafaja Vyadhis also will be the Amashaya. But here in this context we are not considering Pitta, because we are considering only two doshas, that is the Samsarga of Vata and Kapha, or the individual Vata or Kapha, right? So we are considering only three conditions: Vataja condition, Kaphaja condition and Vata Kapha condition. So therefore we are now left with only two options, that is the Pakvashaya as the Udbhavasthana and Amashaya as the Udbhavasthana. So if the Vata is predominant there, or if the Vata is predominant in either Amashaya or Pakvashaya, or if the Vyadhi is there, then what should be done? You can see here, you can see that in the 9th shloka, Amashaya gate vate kafe Pakvashaya ashraye Rukshapurvo hitah svetah snehapurvas tataiva cha. Then now we are considering the Vata only, that is Vata getting lodged or getting Prakupita in the Amashaya and Vata getting Prakupita in the Pakvashaya. So here you can see that if the Vata it's getting Prakupita in the Amashaya, then what should be done? First thing what should be done is Ruksha Sveda, then you can go for Snigdha Sveda, because Amashaya is the state for Kapha. So Sthana Aviruddhata should be always considered, and then you have to go for the first the Ruksha Sveda and then Snigdha Sveda. Whereas if the dosha or the Vata is predominant in the Pakvashaya, then you have to go for the Snigdha Sveda first and then go for Ruksha Sveda. Right? This is how you are going to select the type of the Sveda for the disease which is occurring in the Amashaya and Pakvashaya. Specifically, this has to be understood because it has a lot of importance in the clinical aspect. 9th shloka, Amashaya gate vate kafe Pakvashaya shrite Rukshapurvo hitasvedah snehapurvas tataiva cha. So initially you have to go for Ruksha Sveda in case of the Amashaya gata vata, then go for the Snigdha Sveda. Whereas in Pakvashaya gata vata you are going to go for Ruksha Sveda first, and then if it is a Pakvashaya gata vata, then Snigdha Sveda first, and then you are going to go for Ruksha Sveda. Okay, because Amashaya is the Kafasthana, therefore Rukshana is done first, and then you go for Snehana or Snigdha Sveda will be done. Okay, fine. Then during the Svedana karma, there is a procedure of Svedana karma. What precautions has to be taken? That is also very important, because we have many of our the Anga Avayavas which are affected by the heat. That is, we are having Anga Avayavas predominant of Shitatva, some Anga Avayavas, and some Anga Avayavas are predominant of the Ushnatva. So therefore the sensitivity towards Ushna or Shita also have to be considered here. So the Anga Avayava which are sensitive to heat, that has to be avoided, or it has to be taken care of. So how it can be done? They have told that Vrushanau Hridayam Drishti Svedayin Mrudu Naivava Madhyamam Vangshanau Shesham Anga Avayam Ishtataha. That is, they have mentioned some of the Anga Avayavas which has to be taken care of while you are administering this Vedana Karma. Vrushanau Hridayam Drishti. These three are considered to be the most sensitive parts of the body. What are they? Vrushanau, that is the testicular region, or then the Hridayam, that is the heart region, and also Drishti, that is eyes. So they have to be, they are all Shita Satmya, that is especially the Chakshu is Shita Satmya. Therefore, you should not go for any kind of Drishtivadha. Therefore, it has to be always protected well, because it is an Indriya. So Vrushanau Hridayam Drishti Svedayin Mrudu Naivava. Either you can go for Mrudu Svedana if required. For example, if there is a specific kind of swelling or something like that, then you have to go for Mrudu Sveda, but not, or you have to better avoid it. Okay, avoid those particular regions. Then Madhyamam Vankshano Shesham Angavayava Ishtataha. So here they have said that in the Vankshana Pradesha, you have to go for Madhyama Sveda. In the Vankshana Pradesha, Madhyama Sveda, that is mild kind of, mild to moderate kind of Svedana can be done. And then Shesha Angaha, that is other parts of the body, you can go for Ishtataha, means whatever is recommended, that kind of type of Svedana can be done. Only in case of this Vrishana, Hridaya and Drishti, you are supposed to take care and make sure that you are going to go for Mrudu Svedana, or better avoid this Svedana. If it is required, go for Mrudu Svedana. In Vankshana Pradesha, it should be Madhyama Sveda. Then you can see that in the 11th shloka, they have told that is how to protect it. Then how to protect the eyes or the Drishti. How are you going to protect when you are doing a Svedana? For example, you are giving facial steam, then the Indriyas are however exposed, and the Chakshu is also exposed. So how are you going to protect? So for that they are giving a upaya. What is that? सुशुद्धैः नक्तकैः पिण्ड्या गोधूमानामधापि वा पद्मोत्पलपलाशैर्वा स्वेद्यः संवृत्य चक्षुषी. So you can do the chakshusha bandha, that is you can cover the chakshu with the help of these dravyas. What is it? Sushuddhair naktakaihi pindya, that is Sushuddha naktaka means you can just make a patch. Naktaka means a patch. Okay, so a patch should be prepared which should be Shuddha, Sushuddha, and which should be clean enough, and then you can just frame a pindi out of the Godhuma, that is Godhuma Pishta can be prepared, and then you can just stick it. Padmalotpala Palashairva Svedyaha Samvritya Chakshushi. Or what you can do is you can also collect Padmalochana, etc. That is Padma Utpala, etc. That is the leaves of the lotus or the lily or any like Palasha, etc. That is Chetavirya Dravya Patras can be kept over the eyes, and then you can do the bandhana. That can be done. It is just a patch. Or you can also use a cotton cloth which is very clean. Such kind of patch also can be done over the chakshu, so that you can prevent the Svedana getting affecting the eye, right? Then Muktavalibihi Shitabihi Shitalair Bhajanairapi Jalardraihi Jalajair Hastaihi Svidyato Hridayam Sprishet. So the Hridaya also have to be protected. But while you are giving Svedana, for example, nowadays the Svedana is given in a steam chamber. So when the person sits in that, there will be of course the Svedana happening all over the body. So what has to be done? That is, the Hridaya should be protected specifically. How are you going to do? Muktavali bihi Shitabihi Shitalair Bhajanairapi. So you can prepare some things or some kalka, etc. Kalkati or any kind of Shita Virya Aushadas can be prepared, and it can be kept over the Hridaya Bhaga. Jalardaihi Jalajair Hastaihi Svidyato Hridayam sprashet, it is told. That is the jalajaihi means whichever is born in the water, that is pankajatani, it is told. Pankajan means one which is having an aquatic origin. Such kind of the stalk or the leaves etc. can be collected, and then it can be placed over the region of hridaya. That can be done, so that there is shitatva attained, and then the hridaya is protected from the svedana. So these are the measures which can be done. It can be for hridaya as well as for the vrishana also. Therefore, you can see that whenever the in a steam chamber also a person is made to sit, usually a patch of cold water, cold water is dipped. See, a patch of cloth or a kora cloth is dipped in cold water, or some chandana lepa etc. is done to that, and then it is placed over the eyes and also over the hridaya and the vangshanam pradesha, that is in the groin region or in the testicular region. Below that it is just covered. It is given to the patient to be covered, right? This is practiced even today. Right? The hridaya, chakshu and the vrishana pradesha are always given mridusveda, or it's covered with a patch. That is definitely done every time whenever svedana is being indicated, right? So this is a very important note. So the precautions to be taken whenever a procedure has to be done has been indicated in the this thing, because this is a kalpa chatushka. Therefore, the formulations and the yukti of using something will be always given here. Then the next shloka describes us the importance and the indications of the svedana. That is, what is the indication of the svedana, or how will it benefit us, right? So that has been given in this particular shloka. 13th shloka is very, very important. It has to be by-hearted also. शूल व्युपरमे स्तंभ गौरव निग्रहे संजाते मार्दवे स्वेदे स्वेदाना द्विरतिर्मता. So you can see that Shita Shula Viparame, Shita and Shula will get reduced. Then Stamba Gaurava Nigrahe, Stamba and Gaurava will be controlled. Stamba means when there is an obstruction or where there is any kind of difficulty in the movement, that is called as Stamba. Gaurava, heaviness, Nigrahe, that is it will be controlled. Sanjate Mardave Swede, that is there will be Sanjanana of the Mardavata or Mruduta will be seen. Sanjate Mardave Swede Svedana Dvinatir Mata. So here you can see that Shita Shula Viparame, Shita and Shitatva will reduce, Shula will reduce, then Stamba Gaurava will get controlled, Mruduta will be attained. So these are the benefits of the Svedana. And you can also consider that these are the Samyak Lakshana of the Svedana. That is, if the Shitatva reduces, or Shula reduces, or Stamba reduces, Gaurava is reduced, then the Mridata is attained. Then if these Lakshanas are seen, then definitely you can say that this Vedana has done its job. That is, it has effectively elevated the disease. So you can see that Shita Shula Viparame Stamba Gaurava Nigrahe Sanjate Mardave Swede Svedana Deviratirmata. This is the benefit of having the Svedana, or Samyak Svedana Lakshanas also you can see, or Samyak Svinna Lakshana it is called. That also is indicated here. Then what if there is the Atiyoga, that is, if you do this particular procedure in an excessive manner, what will happen? That has to be understood. Pitta prakopo murchacha sharira sadanam trisha daha swaranga daurbalya atisvinnasya lakshanam. This atisvinna lakshana, that is atisveda lakshana, is also described very wonderfully. Pitta prakopa will happen because it is having ushnatva, that is Vedana is mainly ushna guna pradhana procedure. Therefore it can increase the pitta prakopa, murcha can happen. Then Sharira Sadanam Trisha, that is excessively if you are going to give this steam or any kind of Svedana, then Murcha can happen because it will dehydrate. Then Sharira Sadanam Trisha, that is Sharira Sadana, there will be a lot of pain in the body etc. and there will be a lot of tiredness. Then Trisha means there will be Trishna, that is the desire to drink more and more water. Trishna will be there. Then dahaha, there will be burning sensation. Then swaranga dorpalyam atisvinyasin, swara dorpalya and anga dorpalya. That is, the person may not be able to talk very loudly or with full strength. Whenever a person is endowed with complete strength, he can speak well. Otherwise, in his swara, we can see the sannata, that is sannaswara, what we call. That is, there will be lowered tone, right? The person may not be able to speak in a very fluent manner as well as in a very loud voice. So, swara dorpalya will be usually seen. And also you can also see the anga dorpalya. Anga dorpalya means there will be tiredness experienced by the person if there is atiyoga of the svedana. If it is excessively done, the intensity is high, or the duration of the svedana which is done, if it is very lengthy, then it will be considered as the atiyoga of svedana. First one, what you have to consider, the matra, that is the intensity, and also the kala, that is the duration of the svedana. Matra and kala, that once again comes here. Okay, so that will be the important factor which has to be considered. उक्तस्तस्य शितीयो ग्रीष्मिकः सर्वशो विधिः so atisvinnasya kartavyo madurah snigdashitlah. So what has to be done? See, whenever there is ati yoga, you have to have a solution for it. You have to have a upaya as to how to tackle that particular situation. So the upaya is that they are saying, that is uktastasya shitiyo grishmikaha sarvasho vidhi. Whatever vidhi has been told, whatever charya has been told in Grishma Rutu, right? In the Tasyashiti Adhyaya, in the 6th chapter, you have the explanation of the Grishma Ritu Charya. So, Grishmikaha Sarvasho Vidihi, whatever is done in Grishma Ritu, because Grishma Ritu is also characterized by the Ushnatva, right? Therefore, whatever is told in the Grishma Ritu Charya, in the Tasyashiti Adhyaya, that has to be practiced. So, Atisvinnasya Kartavya Maduraha Snigdashitalaha. So, what all will give us comfort or which will alleviate the excessive pitta or excessive ushnata, that has to be done. What has to be done? Madhura aushadha prayoga or madhura ahara prayoga, snigdha ahara prayoga or snigdha aushadha, and shitala, which is shitala. That is, once again we are going for madhura, snigdha and shita virya dravyas, so that it will elevate or it will reduce the or bring to control the pitta which has increased because of the atiyoga of this svedana. Okay, so that is specifically indicated. Now we have to see that what are the indications or what are the things which the roga or the conditions which are contraindicated for the svedana, that is, in whom we cannot do svedana, or those peoples are unfit for the svedana. So in the 16th shloka we can see that kashaya madhya nityanam garbhinya rakta pittinam pittanam satisaranam pittinam ati satisaranam rukshanam madhumehinam vidagdha brashta baddhanam vishamantya vikarinam antanam nashta sangnanam shrantanam nashta sangnanam stulanam pittamehinam trisyatam kshuditanam cha vruddhanam shochatam api kamali udrinam chaiva kshatanam adhyaroginam durbala ati vishushkarnam upakshena ojasam tatha vishat taimirikarnam cha na svedan avatarayet. So you can see that these are the conditions. So much there's a huge list of the conditions wherein the svedana cannot be done. What are they? Specifically we will see kashaya madhya nityanam, who are kashaya nitya, that is, who are adjusted to have a lot of kashaya rasa. You may wonder that people may not have the habit of this, but many people will have. For example, puga, eating puga without having any kind of the patra, that is Nagavalli patra or Sudha churna, etc. If you are not going to add, or Karpura churna, etc., and then take only puga phala, which is kashaya rasa pradhana, then and many people will have the habit of taking it continuously, so they are considered to be kashaya nitya. Okay? Kashaya nityata Kashaya Nityata refers to the persons who are habituated to Kashaya Rasa, specifically here. Okay. So, Kashaya Madhya Nityana, Madhya, who the persons who are addicted to alcohol, that is Madhya. Then Garbhinyam, in Garbhini, you are not supposed to go for Svedana because the fetus in the garbha, therefore in Garbhini, as she is very very sensitive, we are not supposed to go for any kind of Svedana. Raktapittinam, Raktapitta is also a condition where it is a bleeding disorder. The vasoconstriction may, the dilation may lead to further bleeding. There is Sroto Vilayana may lead to, because we have seen that it is Stamba Nigraha or Gaurava Nigraha. Stamba Nigraha will happen. Now in Raktapitta we need Stambana, but here it is going to relieve the Stambana. So it may further increase the bleeding, therefore this is contraindicated. Pittinam Sati Saranam, that is in Pitti. Pitti means the persons who are of Pitta Prakriti, in them usually Svedana is not advised. Sa Atisaranam, in Atisara, Rukshanam Madhumehinam, very Ruksha, that is person who is very very Ruksha, first they should, Snehana should be done properly, then Svedana can be done. But anyway, in Ruksha persons, Snehana will be the first indication and not Svedana. Therefore, and also Madhumehinam, in the Madhumeha condition, wherein there is excessive, Vata also getting predominant, and the disease has gone to a stage wherein it is Madhumeha. Madhumeha is the last kind of meha, right? So therefore, that has to be considered into mind. That is, if the disease has become chronic, then you cannot go for this. Any chronic diseases, you are supposed to have a check on it. Vidhakta Brashta Bradhanam Vishamadya Vikarinam. Vidhakta Brashta Bradhanam, that is Vidhakta, the person who is affected with Agni or Agni Dhakta, then Brashta, that is any kind of injury, etc. Then Bradhanam, that is Bradna is a condition wherein the testicles are involved. Bradhanam. Vishamadya Vikarinam, that is in any kind of Visha, Svedana is contraindicated, you know that. Then Madhya Vikarinam, any kind of Madhya Vikara also, that is the diseases due to alcoholism, that has to be considered for as a contraindication for Svedana. Shrantanam Nashta Sangnanam, Shrantanam, the person who is very very tired, and Nashta Sangnanam, who has lost the capacity of identifying things. Ashta Sangna means what? Sangna Namakaranam, we say. That is, the person has lost the power of recognition. That is called as Nashta Sangna. That is, he is so much tired, there is delirium, etc. Then that has to be considered as Nashta Sangna. Sthulanam Pittamehinam. In this Sthula also you are not supposed to go for this Vedana immediately. Sulanam Pitta Mehinam. In Pitta Mehina also, this is Madhumeha, which is Pitta predominant, there you are not supposed to go for. Trishyatam Kshuditanam Cha. Trishyatam Kshuditanam Cha. That is the person who is affected with Trishna, that is excessive thirst and excessive hunger. Kshuditanam Cha. Kriddhanam Shochanam Api. That is Shochatam Api. Kriddhanam, that is the person who is very much angry. Pitta Prakopa has already happened. There you are not supposed to go for Shochanamapi, that is the person who is very having a lot of sorrow. There you are not supposed to go for Svedana. Kamali Udrinam Chaiva. In Kamala, in Udara, then Kshatanam Adhyaroginam. In Kshata, that is the person who is injured in a particular Angavayava, or even as such, that is Kshata, Urakshata also can be considered here. And Adhyaroga, that is in the Vata Rakta, not supposed to go for this thing, because Rakta and Pitta and Ashaya Shri Sambandha, because of this Vedana immediately, there can be increase in the Pitta, or the Dushti of the Rakta may increase. Therefore, in Adhyaroga or in the Vata Rakta, you are not supposed to go for Svedana immediately. Durbalati Vishushkarna Upakshino Jasam Tatha. Durbala, that is a person who is weak. Ati Vishushka Upakshina Ojasa, that is the person has become so debilitated that the bala has reduced, and also Upakshina Ojasam Tatha, that is there is Kshinata of the Ojas also. Ojas, which is considered to be Paramateja of all the dhatus, that if it is getting reduced, that is Ojakshaya also, you are not supposed to go for Svedana. Bishop taimirikanam cha na svedam avacharayet. That is, the bishak, knowing all these things, he also has to take care that taimirikanam cha na svedam acharayet. Taimirikana means timira. Timira refers to the diseases of the eye, especially the Timira, Kachalinganasha. They are the stages of the blurriness of vision, etc. So in Timira especially, you are not supposed to go for the Svedana, right? Because it is related to the eye once again. So therefore it may affect the eye. Already it has been told that how to protect the eye. Then when there is any disease of the eye especially, you are not supposed to go for Svedana, right? So these things we have considered today. So in the next class we will be discussing about the indications or where all Svedana can be done effectively, and we have told that the Svedana is an effective procedure for Vata Vyadhi, Kapha Vyadhi and Vata Kapha Vyadhi. So let us see in the next class that how it will be beneficial. This Svedana will be beneficial as a upakrama for the Vata Kapha and Vata Kaphatmaka Vyadhi, and also see that how it will be helpful for the Purva Karma also. As a Purva Karma, how it will be helpful for different purposes. We'll also see the types of Svedana, that is the types of procedures of the Svedana which can be done for different diseases and what will be their effects along with their indications and contraindications. Okay, so in the today's class we have covered the points referring to the indications of the Svedana, what are the important factors which has to be associated while understanding the intensity of the the Svedana, that is Mahan, Madhyama and Mrudu Sveda we have seen. We also see the types of Sveda according to the conditions, according to the dosha predominance. There is a Snigdha Sveda, Ruksha Sveda and Snigdha Ruksha Sveda. We have also come across with the concept of the dosha sthita in a particular place, avayava. There is Amashayagata Vata, what should be the line of treatment, Pakvashayagata Vata, what should be the line of treatment while we are doing Svedana. We also have seen that what are the precautions to be taken while doing the Svedana procedures, especially for the Drishti, Hridaya and the Vrishana. What has to be the formulations used for making a patch and protecting the Sharira against the ill effects of the Svedana for these particular areas also has been mentioned in detail. And we also have seen the Atiyoga Lakshanas of Samyak Yoga Lakshanas of the Svedana Karma. That is, what are the best Lakshanas which we see when Svedana has happened in a proper way. We have also seen the Atiyoga Lakshana, that is what happens if excessive Svedana is done. We have also seen that what are the conditions wherein we are not supposed to, there is contraindications of Svedana. This big list also we have come across in the up to the 19th shloka. In the next class we will be discussing about the important aspects, that is the indications of the different kinds of Svedana for different purposes, that is including the Sagni and Niragni Sveda. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any questions, you can post it in this group or in the YouTube channel. Okay, Dhanyawad.